everyone, and welcome to SunnyGTemplates. Today I'm going to be going over how to use this annual timesheet tracker. So on the first tab here, it is going to be your instructions page as well as a welcome, telling you a little bit about us, what is included in this workbook, as well as how to use it. There will be a PDF version of instructions provided to you as well when you get your downloads. But if you're someone who likes to toggle between different tabs, you will also have your instructions here on this very first tab. So it goes over how to use in each function of each tab, as well as if you want to unprotect any of the sheets which have been protected, just so that any formulas are not accidentally deleted, as well as how to get in contact with me. If you have any questions, you can always send them to me via Etsy or on email. So, jumping right in, is the second tab, which is the annual hours log. And so here I have to where you can edit and change the year. You could also change the title if you would like. The things that are editable are going to be in these first few columns. So it's going to be your pay period, so you could change that number here if you would like. You could have it blank, you can set it to 1. Or if, let's say, you're getting started in the middle of a year and you want to make this week 12, and then your dates correspond to that, completely up to you. So here we're going to get started in the dates column. Here you will enter the date, which will be shorthand. If you would like, you could change the format of that to be, in the long year, writing it in a different order. That is up to you. Here we have it starting in your time in, and then there'd be a break start or your lunch, and your break end or lunch end, and then your time out. So for the time in, you can use it in military time, or you can go ahead and change it to, I guess, not military time, and then have the AM or PM be what you would like it to be. So here I have like a typical work day. This would be 8 a.m. lunch with a 30-minute break, leaving at 4:30, giving you an 8-hour day. So that'll be auto-calculated for the week, and this is on a bi-weekly schedule here. The other functions of this is that you can write notes to yourself. So let's say you take a half day because you are sick, you have a doctor's appointment, you're going on vacation, or maybe there's something specific in the office that you have to do that day. It's all what you can do, what you would like to do, written here. Some other functionalities of this table is that you can calculate an overtime. So again, you'd put in your date, start, time, and end. And let's say you only do 2 hours of overtime this week. Well, then that would only show 2 down here. Another great feature is that this shows a leave used section. So let's say, for example, on the 1st, it is New Year's Day. New Year's Day, we don't have work here in the States. But we do get 8 hours, and we do get 8 hours off. And so I showed that as 8 hours of leave time that I used, but to be calculated in my total bi-weekly pay period. So down here you'll see that you'll get the total of your hours of leave used, whether that be holiday, sick leave, PTO. There's a variety of different options, and one of the things that I really enjoy about this is in the I column where your leave section is, there is a drop-down menu, and you have holiday, annual leave. If you're not taking anything, you can just put NA for not available, sick leave, and then 2 other types of leave. I know other companies, many companies offer different types of leave, so I just have other leave 1 and 2 here. And so this is what you're going to be doing for the majority of your editing on a week-to-week basis. And so I have it starting out here for pay period 1. I also have it down all the way to 27 pay periods. So if you're going a full calendar year, potentially on a bi-weekly pay schedule. So on this example, I have, just a good example for you to click through and see how it works, how it calculates the hours. If you want to play around with it and see how the drop-down menu works, my notes here, doctor's appointment. This week we don't have any leave. Let's say for week 4 I attended a conference on day 1 and 2. Maybe I worked a little bit longer hours this week, but not this week. Again, using some leave time. It's kind of up to you. It's supposed to be very functional, help you to keep track of your hours worked as well as your leave time pretty simply. Have it all the way down. All the way down here. Let me see if I can scroll a little bit faster. All the way down to 27, and of course, you know, everything with your dates and time, and this is what a blank one would look like. So when you open up your blank version, this is what one will look like, and we can get rolling. So on the third tab, which is the leave calendar tab, this is up to you. I like looking at my time this way. I have the different months listed here, January through June, and then July through December. Here is when you can change the day start. The numbers I left the same, but giving you a different weekday start, so that is up to you if you want to leave those blank, if you want to change them, completely up to you. Again, updating the year. I personally like things color-coded, but you don't have to. You don't even have to use this tab. It's really just another visual way to see how your leave is being used. So for example, here in the States, we've got some holidays, and those are 8 hours. Let's say in March I took some sick leave. I also get paid a different rate for when I travel. So when I travel, I like to keep track of that as well. And these are just little reminders to yourself. If you have annual leave, holiday leave, sick leave, just a really easy, simple way, a bird's eye view to look at your calendar year and how your leave was used. So next we're going to our annual leave calculator, and our annual leave calculator I have set up 2 different ways. So the first one is going to be an accrued time. So if you gain leave after working a certain amount of time in your pay period, so let's say for every month you get 4 hours of PTO and 4 hours of sick time. So the only thing you're going to need to enter into here is in this inputs table, and it's in these yellow outlined areas. So let's say based on your annual leave, you go ahead and get 4 a pay period, you get 4 a sick period. Let's say you don't really get other additional leave a pay period. That's kind of additional, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And then let's say your holiday leave, that's not something that's really accrued a month, but that's something you start out the year knowing you're going to have X amount of days off. And for most people, a typical workday is 8 hours, but if yours is different, you can go ahead and change that here as well, so that can calculate that out correctly. On this table, you are not going to enter in anything for this first half of this table. All of these pay periods that you had entered in or decided to enter in on the annual hours log will automatically pull over and list that for you there nicely, as well as the dates. When you enter in your dates, it'll give you the pay period start dates. And then if you don't have, let's say, a week 27 that year, then that one's going to be blank. Or if you decide to not put anything in, it'll be blank as well. So here it'll show you your accrue time, and then remember how we had that drop-down menu? Well, it's going to automatically tell this table, hey, this is the leave that I used, and this is how I used it. So in January we did 2 hours of annual leave, 8 hours of holiday leave, and we had 2 hours of sick leave. But in total, we had 12 hours of leave. And then the way that this will work is that it calculates or deducts anything that if any of your leave was used and what you will have remaining. So giving us a total at the bottom of how many total hours of annual leave are used right here, and this would be the total days. We have the same for holiday, same for sick, and so that'll give you a remaining of what you have left to use by looking at this number here. And then so looking at our other leave 1 and 2, these are accrued. I have a little, let's see if it'll let me pull up my notes here. So okay, here we have, I used admin leave on a certain day. Just little notes to yourself. So maybe you get extra leave that you use throughout the year, or if you travel, maybe you have maternity leave. These cells, you can go ahead and enter in these numbers. So these in this column and in this column are editable for you to enter in any extra or additional leave that you may have used. It's just a non-specified time. So let's say you do not gain PTO based off of hours worked, but instead you start out the year with X amount of hours or X amount of days. Well, then there is this table on the bottom that is granted time. So same thing, we'll pull the days and your pay period and the days over from what you previously entered. Here's where it's going to be a little bit different, if I can get it to highlight. Here in your other inputs table. So you'll start out with your annual leave. Let's say you start out with 13 days, 12 days, whatever 108 hours works out to. Same with holiday leave, only 40 hours of sick leave, and maybe you get 40 hours of other leave for administrative purposes, for travel, floating holidays, things of that nature. And again, we're going to enter in our typical hours in a day that we work. So here you'll see that it'll automatically pull over, this number that you are getting started with, as well as the holiday and the sick leave, and then again for hours granted, 1 and 2 that are non-specified, those are things that you can go ahead and enter in as well that can be deducted from. So like other leave, let's say you get 5 floating holidays, so that's 40 hours, it's administrative leave. Go ahead and put that in at the top, and you have that to use throughout the year. Same concept, it's, deduct based on how much leave is used. It gives you the remaining balance and what you have going into the next pay period. So again, it'll calculate the same down here. It'll tell you how many hours that you have used, how many total days, and then what you have remaining. And that is for all of the categories that we have listed here. So again, you really do not have to do much on this page other than put in your inputs for hours, whether you're earning them throughout the year or you're just using them throughout the year. You have 2 different options of tables you can use, as well as means of calculating unspecified previously undetermined time if you need it. So on this last one's going to be our annual summaries tab. I have 2 different tables here. Well, very similar, we'll go over the same. So one of them is the tracker. It's a summary for if you've accrued time. It'll calculate how many regular hours you've worked, if you've done any overtime, how many annual leave, and this holiday, sick, other leaves 1 and 2. This looks at per pay period, and then this will also look throughout the entire year. So, this person worked this entire year a total of almost little over 229 days. They had a total of little over 3 days of overtime. They took 9.6 days of annual leave, 13 days of holiday, 3 of sick, and 3 of some other leave. And these will be the total hours worked. So that correlates to the first table that I showed you on the leave calculator tab. And if we scroll down, this will be if any of your hours roll over. So that's the remaining balance, that if you don't use anything, most companies will have a policy that if you don't use it, you can roll it over. If you are a use or lose type of company, then you can ignore this, or you can hide that if you want to. But most do, and so that'll be good knowing in what you have going into the following year. And this is for our granted time. So same thing, pulls all of the pay periods, the dates, looking at it at a weekly at a pay period category, as well as an annual. So these numbers, if you were to compare them at the end of the year, they should match up in terms of your hours worked or used and days accumulated. So if you have any other questions, I really hope that this is a really simple timesheet tracker to help you keep everything easy. This will come with the example workbook just to show you with all the little notes that I have written here. I will also have these instructions and manual instructions in case you have any questions on how to use this. But as always, like and subscribe, and thank you.